Hey Bob Jones, welcome back to the Media Madhouse podcast. I'm Abbie.
And I'm Rena.
And today we're talking about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which came out in 2023. And we are once again joined by Elizabeth.
Hi! I love this movie, and I've read the book and everything.
Abbie and I haven't read the book, but we definitely had fun with the movie.
And I haven't seen the main series, Hunger Games movies, but I've read the books, so I know enough of what happened.
I didn't know that you hadn't seen the original movies. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know,
That's what we're doing this summer, guys.
We're doing the Summer Trust. I've seen clips from them, but I've never sat down and watched them all.
This guy hasn't seen Josh Hutcherson. That's crazy.
I've seen him.
No, you've never seen him in your life.
Freddy's.
I haven't seen that either.
So I don't know what this guy's seen Josh Hutcherson in then.
In the meme, the whistle meme.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're decent movies. I like them.
Yeah.
I like them. I enjoyed them more than the book. I'm not gonna lie, I did not like the book.
Well, the first book or have
the
you
first
read all
book.
Okay.
I read the
like
first
books.
book because we had to read it for 8th grade English. I did not enjoy it whatsoever.
Well, 8th grade English was also a time.
I don't think that impacted how I viewed the book though. I think I just hated the book.
Did you have Miss Gray?
No, I had Miss Rose.
Oh, okay, because Miss Gray.
We had Miss Gray.
Miss Gray, if you're listening to this, you are my op.
Miss Rose was chill. I liked her. Anyways, let's get into the summary. We're going to treat this as if we haven't watched the original movies, mainly because it's been a few years since I've read them, so I'm just going to say it exactly how the summary is. I'm not going to make references to the other movies. So we start out with Coriolanus Snow, who I'm just going to call Corio because that's what Sejanus calls him in the movie. And oh my god, why does he have an essay-long name?
I'm calling him Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Because
No.
that's what it sounds like, and it's funny to me.
He has a long name, but Corio is going to the academy and he's trying to win the Plinth Prize so he can essentially get a full scholarship to the university. What is the university? Do we know?
I don't think they ever specify the name of it.
It's just university.
I assume it's just the biggest university they have. Basically.
Yeah.
But surprise, this Plinth Prize is not based on academics anymore, which Corio's super academic, has really good grades, whatever. And the new Plinth Prize is based on a mentorship program that forces 24 kids to mentor the tributes that are picked for the 10th annual Hunger Games and make them into marketable stars. The tributes do not have to win in order for the mentor to win the prize. It just has to be, did they make enough money for the capital?
It's basically whoever puts on the best show.
Yeah.
But Corio gets District 12, who that district is notorious for being terrible and having, bad tributes or whatever.
Because they're all poor.
They're poor than poor.
They're poor and malnourished.
They're all malnourished, and I was gonna say Heimerdinger, but no.
What? What does that have to do with anything?
No, I was gonna. What's his name?
This is going to be a long episode if you keep going like this.
What's his name?
Who?
I can't even remember the
Victor?
actor's name.
For who?
The guy who hates Corio the most.
High bottom?
Peter Dinklage?
Yes, Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage, he does not like Corio from the very beginning, and he is out to get him.
This guy forgot Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. What an icon, King.
icon.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, why would you like Corio? He's literally sociopathic.
He's a little whiny, crazy baby.
No, he didn't like him from the start. If you read the book, he didn't like that guy from all because of his dad. All because of his dad.
Well, he deserved it anyway, so in the end, doesn't matter. But Corio gets District 12's female tribute, Lucy Gray Baird, who in her introduction decides to put a snake down the District 12's mayor's daughter's back.
I guess she should, queen.
Bit of a mouthful. And then she just, breaks out into song
As you do.
She's
kind
a
of like a little
theater
protest.
kid.
And then Corio goes and talks to Dean Highbottom, and Highbottom basically looks at him and goes, "Oh, you're poor. What the freak?" And that's it.
You judge anybody when your name is High Bottom.
I know. He says, I know the Snows don't have a pot to piss in. And that line took me out. He's so mean.
Yeah, why does he sound British? Ugh.
Ooh.
But Corio goes and talks to Lucy because they're like, oh, go make a relationship with your tribute or whatever. And obviously she's like, I don't care about you. And he ends up jumping into the truck that holds all the tributes because he was like, let me escort my tribute. Excuse me, let me escort my tribute.
No one's hearing him out. No one is hearing him out. They all ignore. He's
They
like,
do not care about him.
They do not.
So they all go into this little zoo area that all the tributes just kind of get put in there to be viewed.
Because they're
And
animals, guys.
he gets stuck in there, and Lucky Flickerman interviews him, and also Lucy. And Lucy kind of appeals to the camera by being personable, and she talks to this little girl about her dress. And then Koryo goes back to class, and Highbottom was like, "You broke a rule." And Sejanus breaks out, in protest, and is like, "The games are stupid and bad, and they hurt people for no reason.
Who asked?
And the districts don't deserve this." And then Gull comes in and is like, "Shut up."
Guys, I love Gull.
I love
Gull.
She's so crazy.
She's so...
I love her.
She's actually insane, though.
She's insane, and I love her.
But Gull is the game master. She's also just referred to as Dr. Gull. And she defends Koryo and is like, "I like your suggestions that we make people care about the tributes.
Write that down.
This is good." And then Clementia Dovecoat, who at this point has no significance in the story, just kind of like...
dirty in the movie, I'm gonna be honest. She had such a character in the books, and they didn't...
She's
she was
just
barely
an
in it.
annoying background character in the movie.
Yeah.
But she pipes up and she's like, me and Koryo are partners. We do everything together. I helped with those suggestions. We did it together." And Koryo's like, "Whatever." And so Sejanus and Koryo go to lunch and they talk about the games, and Sejanus is still, upset about it. And Koryo reasons that they need the marketability and to kind of play into what the games are to feed their tributes. And Sejanus is like, "But I know the tribute. We were classmates in District 2.
Yeah.
And Koryo's like, "Don't care.
I don't care about your life before this.
I want money."
Yeah.
And at this point, Koryo is like, if you want to make a difference, like, you can't stay here. You kind of have to, like, go out and do something. As of
Why
right
would you tell
now,
him that?
while you're here, you have to, play into what they want.
I don't know. Like, I do understand it, and I think it makes sense that, like, we don't see much of Sejanus, his personal beliefs on, or, like, I don't know, just, like, his thought process on some things because it's, like, supposed to be from Snow's perspective. But, like, I don't know, Sejanus is just such an interesting character to me, and I kind of wish he was delved into a little more, and I'm sure they did in the books.
Oh, they did.
He really is an interesting character, but they're so limited on what they can do
Yeah.
for the movie.
The movie's already so long.
It really is.
It is.
It's so much.
It's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. It's crazy. But Koryo steals food from the cafeteria and he brings it to Lucy, and she shares it with her male tribute counterpart named Jessup. And we learn that he was bit by a bat
Which is never a good thing.
on the truck because he was trying to fend off bats to allow Lucy to sleep.
He's the goat for real. I love
Honestly.
Jessup.
If I
Justice
got-
for Jessup.
If I got bitten by an Ebola rat, I would like... I would not take it as well as he did.
No, he was pretty calm.
He was really calm throughout the entire thing, except for,
The very end.
the very end.
And
But Koryo and Lucy have a kind of heart-to-heart, if you could call it that. And he's saying that he wants to help her and help himself, make a little mutual...
that scene is so funny to me because here he is like giving the little food that to the tribute or whatever, and they got nothing. They weren't even gonna bring them. No one was gonna bring these guys food. And then here we go, Koryo looking at the piece of bread, like
Testosterone bread.
the testosterone bread, and he's like, I kind of want a piece. I kind of want a piece. And I'm like,
I know
oh my
you're-
gosh.
I know you're literally starving.
I know you're literally
But can I have a little bit?
But can I have a little bit? Like with this.
He's just like, he's so blatantly selfish, and it's so funny.
He is.
Very selfish. But they share their food. And then as they're talking, Lucy says that Koryo seems like a quote-unquote good man.
I don't know how you saw that, honey. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know what gave you that. But hey, Sejanus also thought the same thing, so.
Yeah.
But while they're talking, a tribute from the other side of the little zoo area kills her mentor by grabbing her by the neck and then breaking a bottle and stabbing it through her neck. So that was crazy. And Koryo goes home, as one does. He talks to his bigot grandmother, who is like, "These tributes, they're savages. They're not human. They never will be. They weren't human since the day they were born in that land."
Yeah.
Like, wow.
You're also gonna meet his gorgeous, beautiful, is it cousin or sister?
Cousin.
Cousin.
Guys.
Tigress.
I love Tigress.
I love Hunter. Yeah,
Hunter Schafer, my beloved.
Tigress and Koryo are essentially almost siblings, but they are
Yeah.
cousins.
I don't know if you remember from the movies, but she gets all body modified in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
That was her?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another reason
I didn't
hate
know
Koryo,
that.
guys.
Yeah.
This is why I was saying I wasn't going to make any references to the original movies. I have not seen those since elementary school.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years, guys. We're seniors. But anyway, Koryo goes home. He talks to his cousin and his grandmam, as they call her, and he writes a letter of suggestions to Dr. Gall about how the Hunger Games should be changed. And then, little time skip, and Koryo and Lucy go to a strategy meeting that is being televised, and instead of talking strategy like some of the other tributes and mentors, she's apologizing and being like, yo, sorry about your friend, that sucks. And they talk about how they're both orphans. That's pretty much the entirety of that scene.
There's that.
And he's like, you gotta sing.
Please sing. Please.
Yeah, you gotta sing. And she's like, maybe if you give me a guitar.
Maybe even give me a guitar.
Oh, yes.
But then Koryo gets called to Dr. Gall's office with Clementia. And Dr. Gall is like, hey, so these suggestions, I like them. Who wrote them? And Koryo tries to talk, and then Clementia butts in and is like, I wrote it. It was his idea, but I wrote it.
It's
The like secondhand embarrassment I had was so bad.
She just straight up pissed me off. I was like, oh, I'm mad.
I'm mad now.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, I am about to...
Oh, I'm going to get mad.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Gall, smiles and is like, really? So why don't you stick your hand in my barrel of snakes to grab this paper?
so funny.
If you wrote it, they won't bite you because they will recognize your scent. It'll be
She's
fine.
such a baddie.
She really is.
Obviously, she didn't write it. She gets bit like a Dumbo. And the mentors and tributes afterwards, after a little time skip, they go and see the arena where the games are held, and it gets bombed by rebels. And instead of running away like some of the other tributes, Lucy actually saves Koryo.
Because she's the best. She's such a sweetie. But at the same time, during that scene, I'm going, no,
Don't save him.
turn around.
And Koryo's wig is like almost falling off.
His wing is flying off, and his whole back and leg is just destroyed.
To be honest, she probably would have died if she didn't save him, because you see later that the tribute that did get away,
Marcus, yeah.
yeah, Marcus got away, and he ends up getting caught and, obviously just strung up as punishment. But Koryo wakes up after he passes out, and, Lucy gets dragged away, and Lucy is singing on TV. She's with her
About
little
her
guitar.
ex.
She's singing about her ex. It's
Singing
weird.
about her ex. And in the book, since it's all written from Koryo's perspective, he has his whole inner monologues he's got. So during that scene, while she's singing, getting that money, he wanted, what this guy's thinking? He's like, why can't you write a song about me, huh?
Are you
Why can't
serious?
write a song about me? I'm not, I wish I was kidding, but oh my gosh.
What is this guy's problem?
Because when Elizabeth was reading the book initially, they would just show me parts of the book, and I'd be like, ugh.
It's
ugh.
so bad.
Not that Suzanne Collins wrote it bad or anything. It was
No.
just this
The
is
character-
what a disgusting person.
This
Koryo,
character
yeah.
is disgusting.
Yeah.
He's written accurately and well enough that you're like, oh, this guy's
Oh, yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Good on you, Suzanne Collins. Koryo wakes up, and then he sneaks away at night, and he delivers rat poison to Lucy in some kind of case that's like his mother's. I don't remember
It's
what they
his
call
mother's
it.
makeup palette.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. So he gives that to her and says, hey, use it. And also, when you get into the arena, you need to go into this crawl space and don't take anyone with you, not even Jessup, because that will jeopardize your survival. And he also takes a handkerchief out that has, his father's initials on it, and wipes her tears away. And that's important for later.
That is
What a
important.
stupid Dumbo.
What a stupid Dumbo.
Yeah.
But the next day is the first day of the games. And once they start, Lucy does go to the crawl space, but she brings Jessup with her, and they end up getting chased by some of the other tributes. Marcus, from earlier, who ran away, is also strung up in the arena because he ran away, and they decided they couldn't do that.
No, not allowed.
And, all this kind of fighting happens, and at this point, half the tributes are essentially already dead. One of the other tributes cuts Marcus down and kills him, as a little almost mercy, I guess.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It was.
Yeah. Then her mentor tries to send her water, and the drones, which were repurposed from the war, are so violent that they almost kill her.
Fling around, and they just yeah, boom. They're so bad.
What's the line one of them says where it's oh, these drones aren't great?
Oh,
It's Lucky Flickerman. He's like, ooh, I think we need better drones or
yeah.
something.
No, his commentating during the Hunger Games is what takes me out.
It's so funny.
It's the look.
We'll get to my favorite line later. We'll get to my favorite
on,
line. He's
go
such
on.
a character. He's so me. I love him. But after that, Highbottom talks to Koryo and is like, hey, if Lucy wins, you ain't getting that prize. How do you feel now? You want to keep her safe now? How about that, huh?
He's so funny. He's always attacking him and every.
Why are you attacking me?
Well, you see why later. It makes sense. But speaking of Lucy, Lucy is trying to take care of Jessup, who is, you know, really paranoid, and she tries to give him like a handful of water, and he goes, "What did you do to it? What did you do to me?" And she's like, "What are you talking about, man?" So he's terrified of water and has paranoia.
What could that mean?
What could that be?
Guys?
But moving on. At night, Sejanus goes into the arena, and Koryo is told by Dr. Gall to go get him out, and is like, I can freeze the feed for like an hour or two, but you gotta go get him. And so he goes and gets him, and the two get attacked by some of the tributes, and Koryo kills one of them.
That scene when he has to go and get Sejanus is so funny, because Sejanus will like look, he's like, oh, I thought they sent my mom, and Koryo's like, yeah, I wish they did. That was such a good line.
That's crazy.
That was another scene where I also had like so much secondhand embarrassment because I'm like, guys.
Because he's a literal sociopath.
Yeah.
But he gets a little hurt. He gets a little boo-boo in the shoulder, and he goes to Gall, and Gall stitches the wound while having a conversation about how humans are prone to violence when put into situations that threaten their survival. And, you know, prey becomes predator when necessary or something like that.
I loved that scene though. Like I love
that scene.
I just love Gall, and like I love that she gets so many like monologues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was crying too. That was a.
You're free.
Okay.
Guys, I just love the actor.
But while he's away, his family is being evicted from their home.
Womp womp.
And Tigress says that his father, who is, you know, Snow Senior, I guess.
Snow is senior.
I don't know.
You're dead.
I don't know what his first name is.
I don't know if they say his first name.
I don't think they ever do, but either way, he's like a really respected man or whatever.
Yeah.
But she says that his eyes were always so full of hate. And then we go back to the tributes or whatever. It's like the second day, and Jessup is like full on paranoia. And he's like foaming at the mouth and chasing her up this like incline of debris. Yep. And as Jessup is attacking Lucy, Koryo convinces Jessup's mentor to give him water because he's rabid. And as the drone flies in, like the water splashes on him because the bottle breaks, and Jessup gets scared of it. He falls backwards and he dies.
Koryo delivers another great line. Hey, you can't attack the tributes. I'm just sending water.
I'm just sending
water.
Yeah, because she's getting hunted by a pack of the tributes who have banded together, and he sends like 8 water drones, and they're all like flying. One of them like knocks into one of the tributes, and Lucy actually ends up taking one of them and hides behind a rock to put the rat poison that, you know, he gave her earlier into it. And then she pours the rest out, and when they aren't looking, she leaves just that one poison bottle. And so the pack tries to chase her again, and she hides behind a different thing. It's like some fan vent, and they don't drink the water, and they start like killing each other, and then they go and attack a different tribute. And one of the other tributes, whose name is Dill, or Little Dill,
Oh, Dill.
she like waddles over to the water bottle. They call her tuberculosis on legs. It was crazy.
I was about to say, that was the line I was going to say, that he says that absolutely, when I was in the theater, actually sent everyone in the theater just like, it's like, oh, look, it's ill Dill, tuberculosis on legs. And I was like, oh my God, that's
like,
crazy.
I was like mouth agape, like, what?
I saw so bad. I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, what is your problem, man?
I felt so bad for her. Oh my gosh.
It's so anticlimactic. She just like drinks water and just like keels over.
And she just dies. And I'm like, oh.
Well, the dramatics of it are into that Lucy accidentally killed her.
Yeah.
And she didn't deserve to die, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's in the dramatics of like, oh, the wrong person was killed and she didn't deserve that, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So she drinks the water and she's dead. And it's Reaper is the other tribute that comes and finds Dill and is like, Dill, no. And he takes all the tributes who have died, and you know, their bodies are still there. And he like puts them all in a pile and like rips a tapestry off the wall that's from the Capitol. and drapes it over their body in like memorial. It's
Best
really sad.
scene. Best scene.
It's such a good scene.
Such a good scene. Are you gonna punish me now? I love him. I love Reaper.
But as he is yelling to the camera,
They cut him
Gaul
off.
cuts the feed and says that the Capitol's president's son has died because he was there during the bombing, and that the tributes will all die for us. She doesn't care if there's a victor or not. And so Choreo tears his stitches and goes to Gaul and is like, I didn't want the doctors getting suspicious. My stitches tore. I need you to stitch me up again. But it was a ploy. So he could put the handkerchief that he wiped Lucy's tears with into the snake vat that Gaul plans on dropping on the tributes, because it's the same snake vat where she's like, oh, if they recognize your scent, they won't bite you. They'll have Lucy's scent and they won't bite her when they inevitably go into the arena. And while this is happening, Gaul's also telling him about the jabberjays that were used in the war. And after a bit more fighting in the arena, Lucy uses the rat poison again, kills another tribute because she like sprinkles it into his eye.
Yeah,
It's
he
weird.
snips it up and he's like,
And keels over and dies. But then the snakes are dropped in, and all the tributes die except for Lucy, and that makes her the winner. She won.
It's kind of funny because she's like
she sings a whole song.
She sings a whole song and it's amazing, but she's also like shaking and like
She's shaking in her boots while these snakes are all on her, and she's singing her little old Disney princess song. And then they're all like, "Yeah, why aren't they killing her?" And Cora's like, "It's the singing. It's calming them down."
Such a snake charmer.
They can't sing forever.
She can't sing forever. Shut up.
And Gaul's like staring at the screen like, something fishy's going on
Something
here.
fishy's going
Something's
on.
not right.
But even though Lucy won, Highbottom, calls Choreo to his office, and he has the handkerchief and the makeup palette and is like, you cheated. You're going to be exiled for 20 years.
We're sending you to the
District
military.
8. You're going to become a peacekeeper officer. But Choreo convinces whoever the guard is at the train station to be like, what if I went to District 12 instead?
What if I was with my Pookie?
What if I went with my Pookie?
Pookie? And so him and Lucy do meet up again. And Choreo is bald.
Wait,
He's bald.
Wait,
They shave his hair. He's bald.
He's bald.
He literally looks like Eminem.
Yeah, well, you gotta mention that Sejanus tags along because he's like, I want to be with my bestie, and that's
I need to be with my boyfriend.
literally. Oh my gosh, and it's actually so funny. Like, you don't have to come along, but he's like, no, we're gonna make a life together out there. It's gonna be great. We're
Yeah.
gonna do so great.
Because he wants to go out there because he takes what Choreo said earlier to heart, and he's like, you're right. I am going to make a difference out here. And Choreo's like,
Boy, does he make a difference, guys.
oh, he does not make a difference.
He does not.
But Choreo and Lucy, they're together and they get a little romantical. They're having a great time being Pookies together.
Guys, that scene where they kiss, that's the same scene that we see at the end of the last Hunger Games movie with Katniss and Peeta and their kids.
The little picnic scene.
The little
Oh my
picnic.
god.
It's really
As they go through their day-to-day, Choreo eventually records a conversation with a mockingjay, which is like the hybrid of a mockingbird and a jabberjay. And it's between him and Sejanus about how Sejanus and a few rebels plan on escaping up north. And Choreo sends the mockingjay off, knowing it would be heard by Gaul at the capital. And so they go off with, a few more days on their own. And during one of Lucy's performances at the Hob, is what it's called, Choreo catches a few of the rebels, including Sejanus, talking about the plan. And Sejanus was like, if I help them, they'll take me with them. And turns out it was guns. And he's like, I didn't know it was this big. I didn't know it was going to be like this.
he's a little.
And the mayor's daughter is there, and she's like, I'm going to tell on you.
Ooh.
And Corey's like, nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
And literally shoots her in the back.
Yeah.
I was watching this in class, and Abbie was next to me, and I just remember going, oh my god, he shot her.
Oh my god, he shot her.
She's dead. But another one of the rebels gets killed because one of the other rebels named Spruce, I believe, also kills one of them.
Yup.
Spruce kills Lucy's ex named Billy. Ooh.
I hate
Imagine
Billy.
being with somebody named Billy.
Billy Taupe. Billy Taupe.
What a stupid name.
Oh, he's a stupid character.
But he's
See it,
dead
Billy.
anyway.
Ew.
So Spruce eventually gets hung because they trace it back to him. And then Sejanus gets hung because they find the little recording that Choreo had sent off through the Mockingjay.
It's the way they play it right at the hanging tree, the recording.
They were like, play the recording.
And I'm like, wow.
No, like, because when we were watching it together initially, I was like, there's no way they're playing out this whole thing while they're hanging them.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
no.
It was
brutal.
messed up. I was like half expecting like something to happen and Sejanus wouldn't get hanged, but he did. It was
also,
sad.
the hanging tree from
Are
the
you?
book/movies.
Are you?
Yeah, that's the hanging tree.
True, that tree.
Okay.
Go on.
I don't go on, thanks.
Oh.
Don't go
Whoa,
on.
this guy's a hater.
I am. But then Koryo eventually finds Lucy and they make a plan to go off north because Koryo might get caught and hanged too. And Koryo, as they, escape up north, is like, they're talking about death and whatnot. And Lucy's like, yo, I don't like killing people. And Koryo's like, 3's enough for me. And she's like, 3? You killed the tribute? And then you killed the mayor's daughter. Who's the 3rd? And he's like, myself.
My old self.
It's so funny. Like, it's just like,
My old self.
I don't know about that.
and
in his
she
Swiftie
just
era.
looks at him like, are you kidding me?
And that's
You
when the
think I'm
wheels,
stupid?
the wheels are, it clicked. And she's like, I think, yeah, I'm about to get up out of here.
This guy's
I
insane.
think you're a freak.
I think, yeah, I don't like you.
Yeah, so they get to this hut in the woods, and Corey's like, I'm gonna go fishing. And she's like, okay, there's fishing rods under the wooden board. And he lifts it up, and there's the gun that, he killed the mayor's daughter with. And if he destroys it, then he can go back to District 2 because he got an offer to go there, and he wouldn't get hanged because the evidence would be gone. And she's like, I'm gonna go pick some flowers outside. No reason.
Katniss.
And he's like, okay.
Katniss.
Katniss?
Exactly. So he eventually goes out and he finds that she is not there. So he goes into the woods and he finds this garment that he gave Lucy that was originally his mother's. And he picks it up and underneath is a snake and he gets bit. And he's like, are you trying to kill me? And he
I love this scene.
essentially goes insane.
When he goes insane.
It's like crazy.
I love that scene.
He starts shooting at like random things. He starts shooting at the birds that are around. And eventually he finds like a glimpse of her and he shoots at her. But that is the last we see of Lucy because it's never said.
Her footprints disappear.
It's never said if she died or if she actually escaped him. He goes back to the Capitol because Gaul actually called him back to the Capitol and is like, I know what you did, but you know what? You've really changed the games for the better. And so you're going to be going to the university. And he's like, I don't got the money for that. And she's like, don't worry. High Bottom's going to pay for it. And he's like, okay.
That's such a screw you, High Bottom. He's scared paying for
If you say so. And before he left, he actually grabbed Sejanus's possessions that were in the little military base that they were at.
Mourning his BF.
That made me so mad. I'm sorry. I was just like, there's no way you were like actually mourning him after everything you did.
Yeah,
Like, you literally killed him.
Yeah.
you did.
You're messed up. But he takes Sejanus's possessions to High Bottom, and Sejanus actually had a little bit of morphling, which is this drug that's essentially morphine, but it's called morphling.
It's like morphine, but like more intense and addictive.
Yeah. And he has like little vials of it because it's a liquid. Because Sejanus actually had it prescribed to him because he had emotional outbursts of protest against the Capitol, I guess.
Kind of funny.
That's really funny.
But Koryo takes it to High Bottom and is like, here's all his possessions. I guess his family won't really want anything except for this picture of me and him. And High Bottom reveals that he actually never liked the games and it was like a drunken thought. But it was Coriolanus's father that made it a reality. And High Bottom actually hates the games and wanted to get rid of them. But Koryo made it impossible. And Koryo's like, okay, whatever. And he leaves and High Bottom ends up drinking one of the morphling vials that was in Sejanus's stuff.
He goes kaput.
And he dies because Koryo actually poisoned it with rat poison. Classic.
Loves rat poison.
He
dude.
loves
Classic.
it.
Koryo goes to Gaul, and Gaul says that he's going to be a game maker. And then it's future Coriolanus, who is President Snow, and he has his line that says, it's the things we love most that destroy us. And that's the end of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
I did also want to point out that Gaul, when she's initially talking to choreo when he like comes back to the Capitol.
What are the Hunger Games for?
Yes.
What are
And he like says that it's like a reflection of the Capitol winning the war and like we'll always have control over the people and then the people don't have any chance of fighting back.
It's not about punishment, it's about control.
Yeah, which, you know, sets the
now
stage
that he
for
understands
everything.
that, and that's why she was like, I'm gonna take you under my wing, man.
She's like, I can tell you're evil.
I can tell you're just
I
as
like
messed up
that.
as me.
Just like me for real.
Just like me for real.
I can tell that you're insane like me.
Yeah.
This movie, I quite liked it.
It was very good.
I think it was really good that I was able to understand it after not remembering most of the stuff that happened in the original Hunger Games series, because I haven't read those books and I haven't seen those movies in a long time. And I'm glad that even if you could go watch them, it almost acts as like a standalone if you really wanted it to.
Yeah.
It was
I
that
think-
good of a movie.
I think just like having seen the movies and whatnot, it makes you appreciate the like this movie more because like there's little things that you can point out that it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But like absolutely, it can be a standalone.
Same thing with the book. It's its own thing.
And obviously the book has a lot more detail. Those books are hefty.
Yeah.
They're hefty.
You could read all about him saying that she tastes like peaches. Sometimes I think about that and I'm just like, wow, that's disgusting, guys. I do not like coronavirus snow.
My Lucy Gray, she belongs to me. She's mine. Like, calm down.
Stop being a freakazoid.
Calm
Insanity?
down.
I think we should talk about the music though.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I love the music.
I love her voice. I love Rachel Zegler's voice so much. It doesn't matter what she's singing.
Yeah, I don't like country music, but all of her songs were
Right.
really pretty.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like country music either until I like listen to this. Like, yeah, this is the only country music I'll ever listen to.
Just Rachel Zegler.
And the lyricism is really good too.
It is.
Yes.
Like it's all just like so symbolic and I love it so much. Most of the time I really do like when writers will like write lyrics into their books because like
Yes.
they understand how to put like good symbolism behind things more than like a lot of just regular music artists do. It just then gives like composers and whatnot the challenge of like putting like a melody to it. But you get a lot of good lyrics out of books.
Oh yeah. And
I like it maybe 25% of the time because, I don't know, I see a lot of things where people will put lyrics into a story and I'm like, guys, this is not fit.
Yeah. Well, like I love J.R.R. Tolkien so much, but like some of the songs in like The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings that he'll have written in are just like, how in the world are you supposed to sing this? Like this has no like rhyme or reason or like beats you would have anywhere. Like I will try to sing it and I'm like, how do you do this? And then you look up a cover and it's like, this doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Because you have to have, there is an art to it, obviously. Like you have to have similar beat structure between lines and verses or else it's not going to make sense.
Like if every single line you have has a different number of syllables, it's gonna be terrible to like actually make into a song.
There is a song in the book that is not in the movie that Lucy Gray sings, but it is in the first Hunger Games movie where Katniss is singing to Rue when she goes kaput. And when she goes kaput. And she was singing that like, you know, when they were filming that, the whole scene. So you see this Snow listening and he knows the song, guys. It's just like the hanging tree for real.
I love that scene. I love that song though.
I think my favorite song from there is the Lucy Gray song that she sings. During the scene.
The You Can't Take My Stuff song or whatever.
No, it's the tale of like.
Oh, when she's talking about
Lucy Gray.
herself.
Who she's named after, like the story character Lucy Gray that her mom like
Yeah.
was telling her. I love
When
that
did
song
she
so
sing
much. It's during the scene where they're all at the little lake.
It's at the
her,
picnic.
Her and the cubby.
at the
That
picnic.
song.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
I love everything by the lake. Like literally my favorite part of the whole movie.
I love that scene so much. It's so cute. It's so sweet.
The visuals in this were also really cool.
They
very
were.
pretty.
I wasn't as impressed by them as compared to Wicked or anything.
Yeah.
But it was still really good. Because obviously it's not as like magical as
It's not as
Wicked is.
magical. It's not.
There's no
Oz.
magic in it.
The only like visual thing that wasn't my favorite ever was the arena, and I know you have words on this, but
But I wonder if that's the point, is it not?
well, I think it is part of the point, but like I feel like it could have looked different. I feel like it was a little.
I fear
know.
since the arena wasn't like that small part of like the Hunger Games doesn't make up the whole book like the rest of the Hunger Games books, like at least like the first two. So I don't think they would spend that much time on the arena. And also the arena itself is like, this is back when the Hunger Games weren't really working at that time.
It was
and
literally their
it was
10th game.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for reference, in the first book of Hunger Games, that's the 74th game.
Yeah, and that's all. They got a whole digital world where they like.
Yeah, it's crazy to see what the arena looks like in the first
Yes.
book because, as I said, I was watching this in class, and when they went into the arena, I turned to Abbie and I was like, "This is the arena?
Yeah.
This is so small."
I do think it does a good job of having it there for comparison from a visual standpoint, like as just a viewer of it.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been a little bit more interesting looking.
I think it also shows you how much of an influence Coriolanus was to the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a small thing that was surface level meant to act as a punishment to the districts, and then it became like the main thing that the capital did.
To an extent, I think it's also like Gaul's approach alone to the games versus Gaul and Coriolanus together, what they bring them to the games. Because like she, I think, views it a lot more like clinically of like, I'm just doing this to get a means to the end. We're showing control over everybody. It doesn't need to be this like super flashy thing. And then he has his influence and it like evolves into this, it's a bigger spectacle.
Yeah.
Because he knows how to manipulate people.
And he wants to turn it into a show because it will take more control over Panem. There's that.
I do like the technology, the way they show in during this time. I don't know. It was really, really cutesy. Their little screens, their tiny little boxes.
Oh yeah,
were
that is
really
cute.
Their little computer things that they had. I like it a lot.
It has like that vintage feel.
Yes, and the outfits, the costumes were. I love them so much.
I think that like the general technology and like the look of everything also like sort of made when people were acting like super privileged and like crazy, it made them look a little silly almost. Like it almost made you like I guess like recontextualizes their actions because it's like, what are you doing? You're literally there on your little box computer throwing a fit. Like what is wrong with you?
No, literally every time like a whole person dies, they're just like, oh man,
Oh shucks.
oh shucks,
I got game over on my little box screen.
I'm getting an F on my report card. Oh,
Man, it sucks.
this sucks.
But it also helps you recognize the difference in technology from the 10th Hunger Games to the 74th. Like, it's a big difference. But I think we should talk about my new favorite character, Lucky Flickerman.
Lucky Flickerman.
Icon.
I didn't
love
mention it earlier, but the line that he says when the snake vat is dropped into the arena is, "Oh boy, I hope it's candy." And the snake's him and he's like, "That's not candy."
That's not candy.
I love how they do tone in this movie. Like, I know they do in the other Hunger Games too, but like, I love just how incredibly chipper he is compared to like children, like mentoring children who are killing each other.
Yes.
And I think it almost like makes this movie even more grim because it's this like bare bones idea of this concept, and also instead of like having adult mentors, you have children mentoring these other children.
And it makes it so much worse.
It does,
makes
and
it
like
so much
it, like even with the thing with Sejanus, where he's like, I knew this person. Like it makes it so much more personable and like especially cruel.
You're
'Cause they
sending
grew
them
up
off-
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're sending off your friend to die, and it's actually crazy. And I feel like they show that with him being all chipper, and then like how gruesome like what's going on in the Hunger Games is when he's talking about the weather and the districts, and then that's right at the scene one of the tributes just like goes kaput and dies, and he goes like, all right, and then the forecast, the weather be going in over here, and blah 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 blah, and then he's like, oh,
And
so
here
someone
in
died.
District 12, it's gonna be a little cooler. That'll be
It's gonna
good
be a
for the
little
coal
cooler.
miners.
I see that smashing down over there, and anyway, let's get back to the screen. Oh, somebody died. Like that was a little insane.
I really do think like Suzanne Collins does just like an absolutely wonderful job with like tone across like everything that she's written like for the Hunger Games world. She's amazing at writing tone.
Love you,
It's really
Suzanne
good.
Collins. Can't wait to read your new book.
Oh, she's getting a new book?
Yes, it's about Hamish.
It's Hamish. My mom's currently reading it.
Oh, because I heard about that. Because I was talking to my dad about it. I was like, yeah, I watched the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And he's like, is that the one about Hamish? And I was like, what?
No, not yet.
Excuse me? He was like, is that not right? And I was like, nuh-uh. I fear not.
Guys, I'm so excited for Effie.
I love Effie. Please cast Elle Fanning. No, I was actually gonna think like, what were y'all's favorite songs?
Well, probably the Lake one.
Okay.
I know it's like the basic answer, but I do really like her song in the arena too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I really like the one that she does in the arena just because I think the symbolism of it is really good.
Yeah.
And I think that the performance that the actress put on was really good. Like, she really captured the desperation of
She has
Lucy.
such a strong personality. Oh,
She
she
really
is
just like acted
such-
her butt off this entire
Yeah.
movie.
But it worked really well. It did really good. I just wish we knew what happened to Lucy. It's so
I
sad.
know.
That's the whole point.
I know that's the whole point that we're not supposed to know.
But it's still sad.
We all-
I don't like it.
yeah.
Well, I think like
I don't have to like it.
yeah, we sort of talked about this like on our Boy in the Heron episode though, last episode, about like how like Westerners tend to have more of a problem with like ambiguous endings because they're like, well, it doesn't make sense. Well, it needs to have a clear ending that makes me feel satisfied. Where like Eastern audiences tend to like they have more of those open endings and you're supposed to think about it more. So that like when there's a big movie that has a sort of ambiguous ending over here, people are like, well, I think it's bad. Not that I think either of you are saying it's bad.
Let me tell you something. Oh, I'm not saying it's bad, but like I'm the Westest of the Westerners. I hate sad endings and I hate ambiguous endings. If you're gonna make me sit through all this, give my boy a happy ending.
Yeah.
Give my girl a happy ending. I don't care about choreo.
Give my non-binary person.
Give my them. Give my they them a happy ending.
Give my them.
Give my they them a happy ending.
Also, like, I know people like to theorize, and that's all fun and good, but people really be out here stretching, like, oh, Lucy Gray is coin, actually, or no, Lucy Gray, which makes no sense.
Wait, what's Coin?
Coin is the.
She's the president of the rebellion.
Yes.
Oh.
Exactly.
Oh. I don't know about that.
Exactly. People
I
really
think
be
it's almost,
stretching.
like, better for her to like literally just like fizzle out.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it makes more sense for her to just be like another person
Yeah.
And
and
also,
not to be like this big figurehead later.
Yeah, no, or they'll think that she's somehow related to Katniss. Like,
So
she's
many people
Kat.
say that.
Yeah,
okay,
that's Katniss's grandma.
I would understand people making that connection.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Coin was also evil. Why would you want to tarnish Lucy's image like that?
I don't understand.
Coin wasn't a good person just because she was the leader of the rebellion. Isn't Katniss shoots her?
Exactly. Or they think of her as the lady at the market that Katniss meets who gives her the pin in the beginning. They think that's her or that's her. The point is Lucy Gray is free. Okay, guys? That's
She's
the
gone.
whole point.
Yeah.
She's either dead and doesn't have to deal with choreo stuff,
Exactly.
or she's escaped into the north.
I think it's also like become so much more commonplace with media in general where like people want to make connections to things so much.
You don't have to.
I blame Marvel for this. I blame Marvel and Star Wars for this because they want to connect every single little itty bitty bitty thing and there can't be a single thing unexplained because it makes them money. But so like again, it's just another example of I feel like Western audiences are so like used to every single thing being laid out for them that as soon as it isn't, they're just like,
Where's my Easter egg?
where's the Easter egg? How does it all connect? What do you mean it doesn't connect? It's bad writing then. And it's like, no, it's not.
I don't think it's even like just Star Wars, but like just the fact that people want to overanalyze stuff all the time. I mean, we talked about it last podcast, but when you have so much symbolism in a movie and people tend to look at different details, like you were talking with Encanto, like, what was it, like corn on a plate or something?
Yeah, like the corn on the plate and content.
Like that doesn't connect to anything. And obviously Lucy is a much bigger deal than corn on a plate.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have to connect to the, original movie. She doesn't have to be there because it's not going to mean anything if she's there.
But all this to say, though, I think it's perfectly fine to like have ideas about it and share it. I don't think it becomes a problem when you're saying something is bad because it leaves things unexplained.
You can have your headcanons. Everyone is free to have their headcanons. Just don't say that because your headcanon doesn't exist or force it to exist and be like, well, it must be true.
It's like it's open.
Don't be
it's
too
open,
delulu.
Don't be too delulu. Things are open to interpretation for a reason, and that means you can think about it and you can have your own little thoughts, and it's perfectly fine.
Whether or not she's in the original movies or not, she was still a good character in this one. She was a really good character, really
She's a
good
baddie.
actress, and I think they really did the dynamic well of, her trusting Choreo and Choreo turning out to be, this insane dirtbag.
And like in the books, you never really because it's from Choreo's perspective that there wasn't complete trust between them, and that's what kind of was the whole point.
Because she
And
talks about it. She talks about how
trust is the most important thing to her.
yeah, even over love. And they kind of have like this look towards each other, and Choreo's like, well, you can trust me. And she's like, looks him up and down and is like, you can trust me too.
You can
I
trust me
guess."
too. And it's like there's that tension right there that
There's so much tension between them.
between them that I'm like,
And not the good kind.
yeah, not the good kind, guys. It's
I think it's definitely like a testament though to like both of their acting abilities because it's literally like every single scene, even when they have sweet moments where it's like
Yeah.
there's this like tension of just like
you don't know
untrust.
Yeah, you don't know who is using who.
Yeah.
But it's good. really well done.
I love
It
that.
was.
I still feel so bad for Sejanus. I just wish Sejanus got more.
Yeah.
And
that's kinda what I was saying earlier.
There was a lot of scenes with him and Coriolanus. I can't think of any right now, but I remember there was so much of like an established little relationship between them, and I loved them.
Well, like
They were in love. You can't tell me otherwise.
I think that's another thing I had with it is like sometimes Sejanus just kind of felt like he was there because I don't feel like Sejanus and Snow were set up together very well of like establishing that they were
Not in the
friends.
movie, at least.
Not in the movie.
No.
But I think it's also hard to do because Snow is just such like a selfish person that it's hard for it to show that he even cares about Sejanus.
No, especially like
Because at the end,
in
he
book.
really doesn't.
Yeah, especially in the book, he's always constantly bringing him down. And he's always like, "Ugh, why is this guy talking to me again? Oh my gosh, can he please leave me alone?" And so it's just like, oh, we're best friends.
But the funny thing
best
is,
friends.
you keep making notions about like, oh, you know, they're together or whatever.
Yeah,
and
but
then
they're
like in
actually
the
pretty
arena,
toxic.
they're either in the arena or it's when they're at District 12 where Koryo's like, we're brothers.
Yes,
Wow.
and that
You're
scene is
overcompensating.
yeah.
You're not brothers. You don't even know each other that well. Still make me laugh.
Don't make me laugh. Also, again, with like Clemming, she and Arachne, the girl that gets like the bottle, like
Oh, that's the one who dies.
the one that dies, like that's why like the first like part of the book is so long because we establish like his relationship with every one of these students at the academy and how he's known these guys since like your elementary school, like, and that, which is why
These
like
guys
when
are my peers and my pals.
my peers and my pals, bro. Like he knows, they know each other so well, and that's why like those scenes were more like impactful when like she dies and he'll get really emotional about that, or like when Clemming gets bit, he's like, oh my god, I hope she's okay. That was my bestie. But in the movie, we're just like,
It's like, oh, that happened.
Moving on.
anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
They don't even like in the movie show like what happens to Clemming. Like they don't even care about telling us because she's just not that important in the movie. And I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
that
She really
sucks.
isn't. She's literally just there to be a nuisance.
Yeah, she is kind of a nuisance in the book anyway. But
She was irritating for me. Actually, I wrote it. And he's like, okay, put your hand in the snakes.
Gulp, what are you talking about?
What snakes?
I don't want to stick my hand in this.
I don't. What are you
This
talking?
isn't Dune.
This isn't.
Me personally, even if I lied, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no. I'd be like, oh, sorry. Actually, I did lie.
I did lie.
I'm sorry, I actually lied. I don't want to be bit by a snake. I'll see myself out.
Well, I think to a degree it shows that it's just to like showcase how prideful she is. I don't know. It's sort of
All the capital kids suck. That's what it shows, that they all are the worst.
They're all selfish and snappy,
Yeah,
except for Sejanus.
But because he's not from the capital, he's from District 2.
Yeah,
I just kind
true.
of want to touch on how like Sejanus has this thing, like he has these ideas of like rebellion and like what going against the capital would mean when he's like up in privilege, but once he's down in District 12, he like has to reconcile with the fact that like it's actually a lot tougher for these people than he thinks, and rebellion is a lot more involved and dangerous than he's like imagined it would be, because he has all these like good wholesome ideals, but then once he like actually has to go into like putting them into practice, he's like, oh, actually this is kind of terrible and scary and I want out of here.
And he wants to try and put them into practice, and Koryo's like, dude, you're gonna get yourself killed if you just do it willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And then
And then
he
he
does.
does.
But
By the person he trusted the most.
yeah.
By his quote-unquote brother. That's crazy. Shall we get into ratings, though?
Oh, we should. You should go first.
What would you rate this movie,
Well, you
Elizabeth?
wrote a rating on there already.
I know I wrote 10 out of 10, but like,
Do you want to
I like Catching Fire more.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a close to first. But honestly, I like them both. I like them both so much.
You can rate them both 10 out of 10 and like one more than the other.
10 out of 10.
Catching Fire is just like 10.1 out of 10.
I think I'm going to give it like a 9, just because as we keep talking about like the differences between the books, like I wish they could have put a little more emphasis on Koryo's relationship with some of the characters. I know it's harder to do that because you're running on such little time and you have to get through so much. But out of all the characters I wish they would have established the relationship a little bit more with, I just wish they had done something more with him and Sejanus.
I wish that too. Also, when I was imagining Sejanus in my head, no, the actor's fine. I just didn't think he played Sejanus that well. I'm sorry. So when Rachel was like, when they were telling her about filming this movie, and they were like, we want you to be in this movie, and she was like, I don't want to go all the way out there unless I bring my boyfriend with me.
That's her boyfriend?
That's her boyfriend.
I didn't know that.
And so they casted him so she could go all the way there and be Lucy Gray. And I find that a little silly. And I'm like,
Why didn't they just cast him for like a minor role?
I mean,
that's
I
what I'm
didn't know.
thinking. But he is an actor with her in West Side Story, and he was pretty good in that.
I didn't know much, obviously, about Sejanus in the books, but I think if you just watch the movie without reading the books, I think he does play him well, just because, like, you kind of get that image of, oh, he's innocent and he's trying to do wholesome things, but you can also see that he's, like, very emotionally charged. Yeah. And I'm not sure exactly how they portray Sejanus in the books, but I feel like for how they were trying to portray him in the movie, they did a decent job.
Well, with my rating, I would probably also say 9 out of 10 for the same reason. And I don't think it's also just like one of those movies to me where, like, unless I was watching it with somebody who wanted to watch it, I don't think I would sit down and be like, oh, let me watch this movie. Not that it's bad or anything. It's very long and it's very dense. And I do like it with some movies if I know the movie super well and, like, I know the plot super well, like Lord of the Rings, not to bring it up again.
Or Star Wars, if you really...
Or Star Wars, like things that are like really lore dense, that have a lot going on. Like, I know all about them, so I can just like pop it on and be like, oh, I'm having a fun time.
And if you go anywhere in it, you know what's happening because you know the media that well. But when it's something like this, unless you're really obsessed with Hunger Games,
like somebody here,
then you're really not going to know what's going on unless you watch it over and over.
But it's still a very, very good movie. I did like it a lot. I liked it more than I thought I would, because this guy, Elizabeth, talked it up a lot. Not that I don't trust your opinions or anything, but...
I never trust this guy. I hate this guy so much.
I was a little skeptical. I'm like, I don't know if I like this very much. But it was a lot more complex than I thought it would be, and I appreciated that.
I look-y thought you didn't like it when we first watched it.
Sometimes we watch things, though, and I'm like really tired by the end.
I know. You were like really tired. I was like, man, I really exhausted this guy by making them watch this.
I hate this movie that much.
Really bad.
We'll be laughing and giggling and kicking our feet, and then like by the end I'm like, oh,
I need a nap.
Sleepy. But if people like this movie, what else should they watch or read? Or
probably the other movies and the books. That's about most of what I would say. If you really like dense stuff like this that are very plot heavy, go watch Star Wars, man. Go watch Lord of the Rings. Go watch anything that's going to take you 3.5 days to watch.
Yeah.
Like, go binge watch Lord of the Rings and have it take up all of your time for a weekend.
Guys, I love it, guys. I need to read the Silmarillion this summer. I'm gonna die. It's okay.
Go watch Andor season 2. I heard it's good.
I heard it's good.
I need to watch it.
I keep seeing edits of it. Looks pretty nice.
I haven't seen anything of it. I literally just talked to my dad and he said, apparently Andor season 2 is good. And I was like, cool. And that was it.
I'm so happy because I love the first season, and I'm like, if they ruin it with the second season, I'm gonna crash out.
It's funny how because they can't do a sequel to a prequel, it's actually really good. Like, Rogue One was a really good movie. That's one of my favorite movies that they've done.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be it today. But next week is going to be Minecraft. So that'll be fun. And unfortunately, next week will be our last episode.
Very, very sad.
It is the end of the semester. We are all seniors, so we will have to go.
Hopefully, we'll like be able to get together and do other creative projects in the future. So be like looking out for our names. We might do stuff together again.
Of course. Who knows? Maybe we'll make a video game. Maybe we'll make more podcast stuff. Who knows what we'll do? But that's going to be it today. So, game on, Bob Jones.
Bye.
Bye.